Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we got another Procreate tutorial for you and we're going to be drawing a cupcake monster. So let's get started. If you are new to the channel, I have a separate video on how to get started with loading in your sketch and doing all of that. So go watch that video and it'll explain everything to you on how to do that. So without further ado, we're going to get started on this monster cupcake. So I have provided sketches for you, I have provided brushes for you, and I've provided the color palette also that you can go download in a free download. Set it up on Gumroad. The link will be in the description below. It is set up where you are also able to tip $1 or $2, whatever you feel fit, if you enjoy these free tutorials that I bring to you every week. So all of that out of the way, let's get this drawing started. So what we're going to do is we're going to load in our sketch, and I'm going to use it as a reference. So I'm going to hit the little wrench icon right there, and I'm going to click on reference and image. I'm going to import an image, and we're going to load in the one with the grid lines on it. All right, and I'm going to put this, right over here. I need to make it a little bit smaller, I think. Just a little too big, but I can't grab the edge. There we go. Well, I had an F. Wonder if my pen will do it better. Nope, that's not working either. There we go. Alright, so let me make my canvas a little bit smaller. So you can see I've got the grid lines over here on our reference photo, and if you want to put the same grid lines onto your canvas right here, you'll click on the little wrench icon, you'll turn on your drawing guide, edit your drawing guide, and I have set the grid size to 130 pixels. So you can either use your little slider here, or it's just much easier to click on the 60 there and just type in 130 and hit done again. Now your grid lines here and here will match perfectly, so we can use that to help us do our sketch. So let's get started with our sketch. I have provided you with a sketch brush, so that's the one I'm going to use today. And let me make this cupcake just a little bit smaller. Alright, so you can kind of see that little half block is that one right there. So if we wanted to start this exactly as our sketch here, we'll just count over 1, 2, 3, about 4 full blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4 full blocks. And our sketch will start off with the cupcake, the bottom of the cupcake. I think my brush is a little too big, so I'm going to make it smaller. And I've got a strange color here. I'm going to change that to black, or just a dark color. We can go to classic here and change it to black. Switch back to our palettes. Alright, and let me take off those marks that I did on there. Okay, so again, the bottom of the cupcake is about right there, and then it comes across to there, and then it comes up to about right there, and then that is going to be where the tongue is going to be hanging down. Alright, so I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger so I can see this tongue. Alright, so we got the tongue coming down about right there, then going up and going through that one, and then coming up right there. Okay, it's going to go up through that line, and then it's going to come to about right there. So this is basically helps me to make sure I get my proportions right. So it's just a sketch. We're going to do line work over that after we finish our sketch. So don't be too concerned about the way it's looking right now. Alright, so that's about right. And then the cupcake we'll continue to about right there, and it's going to come up about there, and maybe finish about the middle of the block there. Alright, that's good enough. Okay, let's look over here on this side. So I want this to come up to about right there, and we're going to cut through that one. Okay, that's about right. We're going to have a line coming here, here, we're going to be coming through that line just about, and then we're going to have another one come right there, and that's the folds of the paper cupcake holder or case, whatever you call it. I'm not sure what you call it. We're going to come all the way up to there. Okay, and then we have the kind of cupcake batter, I guess you would call it. We're going to have it coming. No, that one didn't turn out right. So that one's going to come to about right there. And this one's going to come. Actually, it's going to go through the middle of this right here. About there. And then about like that. Okay, and then we're going to have some what do we call that? It's going to be like, for the monster it's going to look like kind of slobbers hanging down there, but it's part of the cupcake frosting, I think, is what that's supposed to be. So the tongue is there. We're working in this square here. So it looks like it's going to maybe hang down like that. Oops, I held my pen down too long. And then maybe another one right there. That's good. Alright, we're going to have another slobber coming down right there. My pen is trying to correct the circle. Okay, and then another one right there. That's going to kind of go up about right there. Alright, and then we're going to have the rest of this cupcake batter kind of coming down like that. Maybe there. And it looks like a tooth is going to be about right there. Alright, and then the tongue, top of the tongue, come up. Let me see. About like that. And then it's going to continue. Kind of like that. Alright, that's good. There's a lot of details in there, so it's a little convoluted to see where things are, but like I said, don't worry too much about it. It's all going to work out in the end, I promise. So I'm just going to quickly put that in. Again, we're going to be looking at our sketch when we start inking this in, so we can fix anything. We just want to make sure that we got the proportions correctly is the main thing. Alright, and then we got that coming up to about right there. And then this is just going to be more of that batter, I guess you'd call it. Coming up around there. Okay, let's get where these teeth are going to be. So that slobber is right there. So this tooth this reference is really hard to maneuver around. I think this is one thing that they really need to fix in the software. It's really hard to manipulate where you want it to be at. That's about right. Actually, that is right there. Okay, and let me get these eyes in, so that will kind of give me a better reference. So they need to come. Is it this one or this one? I think it's this one. So come to about right there. One eye. And the other one's going to come about like that. And then we have this pie dough. Coming up like that, and then we have, no, don't correct me here, about right there. Like a little line under that eye and a little line under that eye. Okay, and then this upper part of the mouth is going to be, so the eye, actually it's supposed to be up here. And it has some teeth coming out like that. Okay, this tooth right there. Okay, and then this, we're going to have an eyeball right there. This line's going to come over there. We're going to have another eyeball, which is going to intersect all of those. About like that. Okay, and then up. Another eyeball here. Okay. I think I've got my proportions all wrong. But you know what we can do? We can resize it. We'll fix that problem real quick. So that eyeball on the top there should be about, and that one will be going through there, and this one should be down here. So let me freeform that and shrink it down about like that, and that's gonna be a little bit better matching where it should be. This eyeball should be about right there instead of there, so we're gonna erase that one. Let's get this bigger eraser. There we go. Okay, so that eye is gonna be about right there. We're gonna have a ball there, and then this is going to go up. I'm going to have one here, and the top of this like that. Okay. And then all the top of this is just going to go about like that. All right, I'm going to have some teeth come over here. The mouth's going to come up all right there. All right, so I've got my proportions the way I want them. Actually, I'm going to move my sketch back over to the center of the canvas. Alright, and that's basically going to be it. So let's get started on this next portion, and that will be the inking process. Okay, so our next step, what we're going to do is we're going to start the inking process in. I've went ahead and turned off my drawing guides and my reference photo, which I don't need anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a layer under our sketch layer, and this is where we're going to do the inking at. So what I'm going to do to keep myself from making a mistake, I'm going to go ahead and lock that sketch. That way I won't accidentally draw on it. And our line art is going to be in black. And I'm going to use the Inker Streamliner, the Chamo Inker Streamliner, which I provide for you. So we're going to use that to do the line work. Okay, let me see if I make sure I got that lock comes in handy, so I would have done it right there, and it told me the layer I'm trying to draw on is locked. Let me see, maybe a little bit smaller than that. So I got the brush set at about 4% size. Alright, so let's get started. We're going to do these. I'm going to hold my pen down and make those very straight. It's really important when you're doing this sketch that you make sure all of your lines are touching and closed. Because if they are not, when we go to do it, drop in the flat colors, we're going to run into some big problems. So this is very important. I don't like that. We're going to do that again. So I want to get this thick to thin action in. So with this brush that I provided for you, the harder you push, the thicker that line is going to be. That's much better. And then we're going to connect this one here. So again, making sure all of our lines are closed. And then this is going to be kind of a start thin and then end up thick. So I'm going to push harder as I go up here where it connects. Let me make sure I fix that. I don't want any. Yeah. Do that again. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to have a little line right there. Okay, that looks good. Let's go ahead and get these cupcake folds in here. And if you want, you can hold your pencil down and make sure it's perfectly straight. That's good. And let's just go ahead and get this out of the way here when we finish the cup part. And there we go. All right, let's get some of these folds in here so we can get this slobber in here. connect that, make sure that's closed. Right here is we're going to make sure that we're going to get this all taken care of. And if there's so tiny space like that, I'm just going to go ahead and fill it in with black. Alright, let's get some of these folds in. I'm going to go thin to thick, thin to thick. So to give it a little more cartoonish feel to it. Thin, thick, thin, thick. And we'll do the same thing over here. Okay, then we're going to have some more slobber, it looks like here. Make sure that's all connected and right here. Okay, let's continue. Thins to thicks. Make sure that's touching. There we go. Right here too. Here we go, and top of this, I'm gonna say batter, or maybe it's, if it's a monster, it's his lips, I guess. And then a tooth there. I'm gonna have a tooth here. Should have put my drawing glove on. My palm touches it here. Sometimes it does things that you don't really want to do. When you have a drawing glove on, that prevents all that. In fact, I'm going to put that on real quick. Oops, bumped the camera. Sorry, guys. See if I can stop that. Alright, let me put this glove on. There we go. If you guys don't have one of these, I highly recommend getting one. They are very helpful, and they keep these fingers out so you can hold on to your pen, but when you touch the pad with your palm and these other fingers, it won't register, so that really helps out a lot. And it also kind of slides, so it makes it easier to do lines, makes it more slippery. Alright, and I'm going to start putting this upper lip in. And then some of these lines like that right there I can erase. Thin to thick to thin. Same here. Tooth right there. Okay, looks good. Let's get this side in. All right. Maybe right there. This is a tooth, but we got some slobber coming off of it. That's good. And then this one right there, make sure that's connected. Okay, another tooth here. Another tooth here. And let's finish this up here. Alright, and let's put these teeth in there. One more there. Oops, let me touch up there. Okay. Alright, that's good. Let's get these eyes in. Good, good, good. Okay. Thin to thick to thin there. Right there. Okay. That's good. Make sure all that's, see the right here, that is a problem. That's what I'm talking about. You have to make sure all of these are completely connected so we don't have any troubles. It's good. Alright, I think we got all that done. Alright, let's get some of these eyeballs in here. Hold my pen down. There we go. Do this eyeball. And I don't want them perfect circles, so that's why I'm not touching it with my other finger to make a perfect circle. This one is kind of perfect in a way, but to keep it kind of more authentic, I'm gonna not do a perfect circle. Touch right there, make sure that's connected. Let me see. Here, thin to thick. Touch the eye there. That's good. Do this eye. Maybe I'm going to make this one round. Okay. Good. Right here. All right, I think that is going to do it for our sketch. So the next process will be to go ahead and start inking some of this in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new layer under our line work, and we don't need our sketch anymore, so I can actually just delete that. And I've got it locked, so I have to unlock it first. Unlock and delete. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and rename these. Actually, scribble those out and put lines. Here we go. And these are going to be, oops, I'm going to rename these to colors. Scratch. Colors. Okay. And then, so what you want to do is you want to set your lines to a reference. So that what that does is it tells us that when we drop colors in the color layer, it's going to use the lines as the reference. That's where the colors go. Alright, so let's get started on the coloring. So let me do the cupcake paper here, and we're going to do it this light, very light pink. So it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 one from the top. We're just going to drag and drop that in on both sides here. Okay, I closed all those off pretty well, huh? And then this one over there too. Okay, that's good enough. Tongue is going to be this purplish color. So we're going to go to the very top. So 1, 2, 3, 4 over from the top. drop that in. The slobber part is going to be brown, so it's going to be this darker brown up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over from the top. So it goes right there. It goes right there. Actually, that went over the teeth, which I don't want. So I didn't close something off that needed to be closed off. So right there, that line right there is the problem. So I'm going to go back to my line reference, or the line layer, change it to black, and we're going to close that tooth right there. I don't know if I'm on pure black. There we go. Then go back to the color, make sure you're in the color. You know what, I'm going to lock this reference just to make sure. Alright, and we're going to hold down and select that slobber color again, and we're going to drop it in there and over here. I think that is all of the slobber color. Okay, let's get this dough part, and that's going to be this light brown, which is the very first color. Drop that all in and down here, and we can continue. Oops, I missed it. Right there. Continue filling. Touch that one, and that is all of the. Wait a minute, down here, missed that. Yeah, that's it. Okay, next. Choose black. No, I didn't give you a black color. I thought I did. Anyways, just go to classic. Click on the bottom left corner. And then we're going to go back to the palettes. Make sure. Oh, color drop's still on, so turn that off. Okay, drop that in where the mouth is going to be. And we have a line right there. Good, now you can really see where the teeth are supposed to be. Okay, I think his eyes are going to be black too, so I'm going to drop those in. I think that is all the black. Yep. Okay, the frosting up here. Back to our cupcake. We're going to have this top pink color, which is the very first one. Oops, something is open. What is open? So look right there. That's probably the culprit. You know what? I need to unlock my reference layer again. Make sure that's closed. Just kind of check it. That's open right there too. That's probably the culprit right there. Alright, I think it's all closed now. Let me lock that again. Go back to our pink color again and drop it in, and there we go. Okay, next are the eyeballs. They are this second color here. They're not a complete white, they're kind of a off-white. And I think the teeth are going to be the same way. So what I'm going to do is drop one in. I'm going to hit continue filling, and then I just have to tap it. And turn off that. I'm going to get rid of that and get rid of that. Okay. If you want to check, you turn off your background color, and then you can see that you've got everything colored in. So our white background is not messing with anything. So this right here is not colored yet, so we're going to do that in... You know what? I didn't give you that color. Choose a blue color. Let's go to classic. Just whatever blue color you want. It don't really matter. Make all these eyes blue. That's good. Okay, and our color flats are done. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to start in on the shadows. So what I want you to do is create a new layer on top of the color layer, and we're going to set it to clipping mask. So what clipping mask does is it only allows you to draw on things that already have color on them. So we try to draw out here, it won't work. So that way when we're doing like I just did right there, you see how it won't come out here? Alright, we're going to undo those. Okay, so let's do the shadow on the cupcake cup. So go to your colors again, and the cupcake cup was this really light pink. So we're going to do the darkest part down here at the bottom. So I've kind of got them where they're the base color, the next shadow, and then the darker shadow. That's how I kind of got them situated. So we're going to go to this really dark one here, and they're going to have a shadow along the bottom of the cup. So I'm just going to kind of push hard and hold my pen down to make a good curve, and continue it over here. So that's going to be the first shadow. Now I'm going to make a lighter color shadow, so that one up from that on top of this. And you don't want to leave any gaps, so make sure you color that in. That's good. So it kind of gives it a 3D effect to it. And these black lines here in between, I'm just going to put a little line going down in between. All right, that's good. Maybe right there. Okay, that's what I wanted. And then we're going to do the same thing along the top of the cupcake cup. So we're going to go back to that really dark color, which is that one right there. And we're going to line the top of it and just kind of follow along the curves just like that. And then we're going to take that next color, which is the one up from it. Oops, accidentally touched another color. And we're going to do the same thing. And be careful, because it's going to cover up the one that you just put down. So just like that, and then maybe over here. Okay. You know what? I want to make that just a little bit bigger, and I want it to kind of conform to those lines right there. Just fill all that in. And if you think you covered up too much of that first one that you put down, the darkest one, you can just go back, choose the darkest one again, and then just go right over the top of it again. Okay, yeah, I like that. That looks much better. I'm going to do this over here too. That's good. There we go. Oh, I like that. Okay, let's shadow on the tongue now. So we're going to have that base color, which was the dark purple here. We're going to get some extra dark, and we're going to put it like right around the bottom here. And then about like that. And we're going to finish all of this in here. Okay, and then maybe, oops, I went up too high, but we can erase some of that. Okay, I think that's about it. Maybe just a little bit right there. That's good enough. Okay, and then we're going to do the lighter, which is going to be a highlight. I'm going to put it right there. And I'm going to put one right there. Maybe a little bit right there. And that is going to be the tongue. Okay, let's get this slobber in here. Start shadowing the slobber in. That was that dark brown. So the really blackest or the darkest brown is going to be the very bottoms of these curves. Like that. So all of these kind of like that. And if you want, you can do a little bit on that sides. It don't really matter. Maybe like that. Okay, and then we're going to take the next part and we're going to go over the top of that to make a 3-layer shadow. Make sure there's no gap between the two. Okay. Yep, that's it. If you take this really light brown here, we can use that one for the highlights. So just put like a little bit, like a droplet. These are kind of longer, so we can do maybe 3 of them. Just about like that. I like it. Okay, let's do the shadow of the dough next. So the dough base color was this light beige color, which is that right there. So the darkest part is going to be this brown down here at the bottom of it. And then we're going to kind of put some shadows under these loops. Maybe right there. Okay, like that. Maybe a little touch there. I'm just going to kind of follow the line art there. So thin to thick. Just like that. And let me see up here. Maybe like a little triangle. Okay, and then here. Maybe like that. So just kind of where you would think that the overlaps would create a shadow. Yeah, just about like that. Let me see the top of the lip. Maybe some thick to thins there. It's good, and maybe under these folds. Okay, I think that's it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the next color, which is the the lighter here, and we're going to do the same thing. To create that third color. If there's any gaps, you can kind of just fill those in. Alright, looks good. And then maybe here. Shadows take the longest amount of time because there's so many of them. When we go into the highlights, there won't be so many, so it'll be much quicker. Maybe across here. Yeah, I like it. So you can just see when you back up, it makes it look so cool in 3D effect. It's really nice. Okay, let's do the teeth next. So I have this white teeth, and then we have the darker shadow. I'm gonna do the very base of the teeth. Just follow that curve, and then on the top, we're gonna go against the gums. Alright, and then up here. Oops, I don't want that there. And my eraser brush was way too big. It's fine, we can fix that all the way across those two. And then down here. Okay? And then what I'm going to do is the same thing. We're going to do the next lighter color. And we're just going to do that third shadow there. Alright, that's it. And all these little spots, you can just turn on the black and go over them. Hide those. There we go. Okay, so we got that done. Let's go ahead and get the shadow of the frosting in now. So we've got the base color, which was which one was it? This one, the first one. So the bottom one's going to be the darkest colors. So right there. Across there. And across there. And then right here, maybe right there and right there. Okay, maybe this one here. Possibly here. And maybe a little bit right there. I think that is pretty much good. Maybe right here too. Alright, then we're going to take that next color, which is the lighter. And again, same thing. I'm just going to leave that one like it is because it's already filled in all that. Filling any gaps. And then maybe right here. Yep. Okay, that's all for that. Okay, now for the eyes. So we're going to do the same thing as we did for the teeth. So we're going to do the darker color. And that's going to be right along the edge of the bottom. And then the next color, the lighter one, right over the top of that. That's it for the eyes. Alright, and the final step is we're going to put in our highlights. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a new layer. This time we're going to change the little N here. We're going to go to lighten color. And I'm going to take the opacity down to about 42%. Change our color to pure white. And then we can boost that up a little bit. About right there. So I boosted it up to about 79% now. And we're just going to start putting some highlights in. This is going to be not very many. So remember, it takes a long time to do the shadows, but the highlights are not as many. Okay, right there. What about the top of the... Put some around there. Okay. Maybe right there and here, possibly. Could probably put some on the bottom too here, right along the top of the edge. Just about like that. And not much. I think that's about it. So see there, the highlights are not as much. So let's do, I'm going to do a new layer. I'm going to choose a brush that did not give you, but it comes with your Procreate. Go to the airbrush and use the soft brush. Keep it on white. We're going to go into the, I have to make the size 1 or 2%. And we're going to put a a little shine. Actually, I want it on top of even the line reference, so I'm going to drag that up to the very top. So we want it to cover all of the eye, and then right there too. So little shines in the eye. Just about like that. And that is going to do it, guys. Turned out very good. If you want to, you could go ahead and change the background color to something, maybe a dark color, possibly. See what that looks like. Let me turn it back on. Maybe. You can just play around with it and see which one looks the best. Like that looks pretty good. Kind of a beige color. But anyway, that is going to do it. Your monster cupcake. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Hit the like button, share it with your friends. We're growing really quickly, which is, I so appreciate it to all the people who are watching the videos and commenting and liking and subscribing. So with that, I will see you on the next video. Take care, guys.